love to invite Miss Lawson, the art teacher at McMahon School, with her students from McMahon, of which there are a few here. I was very taken, well, I have been taken over the last year. Every time I go to McMahon, it is beautifully decorated with student artwork. And we just recently recognized Miss Lawson with the Cone of Excellence for her terrific work as a art teacher, promoting the arts in the Holyoke Public Schools. And then in discussion, we invited her, and she graciously accepted to present to the school committee and bring some students with her, because ultimately it's the students who create the beautiful artwork at McMahon School. So and I do want to acknowledge that Ms. Ewick, the principal of McMahon School, is here as well to display. I think you're here to display artwork. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to the team from McMahon.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you and see you this evening. I have wonderful students with me here tonight. This is Isabella Guzman, and she is an 8th grade student. And whose class are you in? Remind me.
Miss Hilliard.
Miss Hilliard's class. And then we have, who are you, sir?
Lincoln Geddes.
And whose class are you in?
Miss Altus.
What grade are you in?
6th grade.
Excellent. And then we have?
Nathaniel Gomes.
And what grade are you in, Nathaniel?
6th.
And whose class?
Miss Altus.
Excellent. And one more, Mr.
Ryan Kennedy. Miss Altus.
And what grade are you?
6th.
6th grade. Excellent. So these students have brought with them some artwork from this year and from previous years. We're at the beginning of the school year this year, and so we don't have a whole bunch that we've produced so far, but they were gracious enough to bring some pieces in from our past years. So Isabella is displaying a few different pieces this year, this is from when you were in 6th grade, right? So this is 2 years ago, this painting. And Isabella, who's in this painting?
Beyonce.
And can you tell me a little bit about the project that we were doing?
We had to choose someone who inspired us, and then we had to trace them from the window.
Yep, so we used a transfer process because it was a painting project and we didn't want to get too bogged down in the drawing part of it. So we did a little bit of tracing and then mapping out the lights and darks and gray areas. It was a black and white photo. And then we used a color system to fill in and mix and make all of these different shades of color here that are monochromatic. And then we used a complementary color in the background. What else do you have here, Isabella?
Our book covers.
Tell me about that.
Don't know much because we just started it.
This is true. So we're making an accountability book cover. It's going to become a hardcover book, and the students are going to be actually sewing the signature pages of the book together, the internal components of the book. So they're learning all about the way that hardcover books are actually constructed, and they were tasked with creating a design that has flow between the front and back cover, and it functions as independently as one piece of artwork, and then a second piece on the back, and then a third piece when it opens up. So they have to connect and have flow between them. So we're doing this in the entire middle school, and this is going to become the cover of our accountability book, where they grade themselves at the end of class, and then I countergrade them so that they understand where they stand in the class. We're also going to be doing some exercises in the book where we do some do-nows at the beginning of the class, and they're going to analyze some art historical pieces of work, and they're going to do some writing about that. So here's Bella's, and then Lincoln has one. Lincoln, can you hold that up? And what was your design about?
Mine was looking more like the beach, and well, that's really it.
Your picture.
Mostly a palm tree, rock, ocean. That too.
Excellent. And how about you, Nate? What have you got in your picture? I know we don't have enough hands. What's in your picture, Nate?
Yeah, I was just gonna say you can set some stuff down if you guys need to. Table behind you too.
There you go.
Break it.
So I had a beach like Lincoln's and also a city, and the sunset going into from the morning into darkness to the city, and I had an airplane with a sign on it, because we were supposed to have our name and our teacher from our homeroom.
Excellent. Very nice. And how about you?
I have like a sports picture, and on one side it's like all the balls of sports, and then the back is like all the fields and courts, and then I have them connecting to one.
He's used some really cool flame work in the center part to kind of connect and show some speed there, of all of the different sports equipment moving there. And then Bella, what do you have down here?
It's our kite.
And now you're reading a book in ELA. What's that book called?
Think Dragon Wings.
Excellent. And in that book that they're reading in ELA, they are they're people in the book fly kites and have kites. So oh, the father makes kites. Okay, so Mrs. Lacey, an 8th grade teacher, came to me and asked if we could make kites in the art room, which I thought was a great idea. So I kind of turned it into a watercolor project and an engineering project because the kids had to lash together the wood and put it all together. In the back, you can see how Bella lashed it together, and then we made this border around the outside after she made her beautiful watercolor image on the front. Can you tell me about that image a little bit? What did the hands mean?
Well, I kind of just thought about how kids bring happiness.
Excellent. It reminds me of how artistic Bella is because she's really, really super talented. And it reminds me of how whenever she makes something in the art room, her hands are always working hard and making beautiful artwork. So I think of that as sort of the art just flowing right out of her. Lincoln, what have you got here? What's this big paper mache piece you have?
Which one? Well, this one I made in 4th grade, 2 years back. We were challenged to make imaginary bugs, insects. So I just made a random butterfly, short wings, has eyes everywhere, and it's supposed to have spikes, but they fell off. And then, then this one, I have, it's more of a Harry Potter themed snitch, golden snitch.
Golden snitch.
About what we're supposed to-
Golden snitch.
Yeah. And we were originally making banks, and then I had a student teacher at the time, and so he really kind of changed the project and made it this very imaginary project. And when I came back, I was like, whoa, that's not a bank, but that's okay. So I was really impressed with what the kids came up with because they were much more abstract than what was originally going to be the plan. So I thought that was pretty neat. So excellent, Lincoln. And what have you got there, Nate?
So last year we had an art club with Miss Lawson, and we had a project where we supposed to like paper mache our face, plaster cast our face, and after that we would put in like mold and we would let it hard, and it would become like your face as it originally was.
So what did you have to put on your face first so that didn't stick to your face?
Oh, Vaseline. A lot.
A lot. We had to scrub it out of every hairline and everybody's eyebrows, and it looked kind of like a spa in the art room. We had kids laying down on the tables and putting strips across their faces. It was pretty chill. And then they learned all about the molding and casting process, mixing their own plaster, pouring it, waiting for it to cure, and we talked all about how it created a bunch of heat as it cured. The chemical process creates that heat. So it was a really fun project. So thank you guys for sharing your artwork with everyone. We appreciate it. And I have a little slideshow that kind of gives you an idea of like what we do throughout the curriculum from pre-K to 8th grade. Just kind of, I'll click through it quickly for you. Let me give you those things. Everybody.
Thank you guys. But really quick, does anybody have any questions? Miss Brunette?
Yeah. So I was wondering, first of all, to the Harry Potter fan, do you have a Hogwarts house? What is it?
Hufflepuff.
Ooh, you're a Hufflepuff? I'm a Ravenclaw. Oh. All right. But I do also have a question. Has this art class and your projects changed, like, what careers you want to do or anything like that? Do you have any artists here who want to become artists? You do, Bella? Do you have a medium that you want to get into? Like painting, drawing, sculpting?
I would like to start carving.
That's really cool. Awesome.
Very cool. Anybody else have any questions? Oh, go
I
ahead.
would like to just open this up before we leave
because this is the next project that's happening at McMahon School, and I would like to invite all of you to come to McMahon School to see this fantastic artwork that is displayed in our building. So if I can